Is working with Iran the best chance of establishing peace in the Middle East? Are the Iranians seeking nuclear weapons? And if they are, what do they want them for? In The Devil We Know, dealing with the new Iranian superpower, Robert Baer seeks to deal with these questions. My name is Grant, welcome to GH Books, and this is a book review. Baer's thesis in this book is that the United States should be working with Iran rather than working with the Saudis or the Turks to establish peace in the Middle East. He justifies this position by giving a history of these different regimes and the difference between Sunni and Shia Islam. According to the author, the Iranians already see themselves as a superpower, and this at least partially comes from the long history of what they see as Persian civilization. And he talks about how there is a pretty decent history of pro-Americanism within Iran. Like much of the Middle East during the 19th and the early part of the 20th century, Iran looked at the United States more favorably than they did the Europeans. Sure, they still saw the Americans as infidels, but these were infidels that had no history of trying to take away land from Muslims, for our working closer with them. The author claims that until the CIA overthrew the Iranian regime in 1953, of course the Iranian regime became openly hostile to the United States in 1979. But Baer uses the subsequent actions of the Iranian regime to argue. He points out that since the end of the Cold War, most terrorist incidents in the world have been committed not by Shia Muslims, which are dominant in Iran, but rather by Sunni Muslims, which are dominant in the rest of the Muslim world. Even though it was the Shia Muslims of Hezbollah that began suicide attacks, they have been much more reluctant to use this tactic in recent decades. Baer describes the Sunni terrorists as viewing suicide attacks as being good for their own sake, while Shia Muslims simply view suicide attacks as being another tool that should be used for actual benefit of the Muslim community. He points out that every terrorist attack pulled off by elements within the Iranian regime, especially as the Cold War drew to a close, actually achieved some kind of material goal. He gives examples of taking of European hostages and offering to return them in exchange for concessions, such as halting the sale of weapons to Iraq during the Iran-Iraq War. They actually achieved those goals and were known to return hostages as they promised. And what about the nuclear weapons? The author is pretty certain that yes, the Iranians are seeking nuclear weapons. He claims, though, that they are seeking them as a deterrent to other powers that do possess them, and as a symbol of their own power. Given these historical examples, Baer argues that the Iranian regime is actually more trustworthy than the Sunni regimes of Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure exactly where my opinion falls on this book. I don't entirely trust the Iranian regime with a nuclear weapon, but it is definitely worth giving some thought to. And so what do you think? Should we work with the Iranians, or should we take some other course of action? Let me know in the comments below. Click the like button, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching, keep reading, and have a great day.